Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. This podcast is dedicated to EAS employees of the U.S. Postal Service and members of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us for today's episode. And now, here's your host, Robert Wakefield.
Good morning, Branch 32, and good morning, Naps family, wherever you're listening. Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. It's presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. I am your esteemed host. Now, how'd you like that word, esteemed? I've never used that before in my life. Esteemed host, I'm your host, Robert Wakefield, president of Branch 32. Thank you very much. All right, we've got a great show lined up for you today, so stick around, and let's go ahead and pour that first cup. When your money is handled with care, life just runs smoother. At the Nashville Post Office Credit Union, we've spent over a century helping members save smarter, borrow easier, and plan with confidence. From checking and savings to great loan rates and mobile banking, we make everyday finances feel a little lighter. Join a credit union that knows your name and understands your world. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our first cup today, I wanted to thank all of those who made the 2026 LTS series very successful. It was really neat to talk to different people who had a hand in organizing and planning, and it was great to talk to first-timers that was there as well, as along with the other officers at LTS. It was great to talk to all of those folks. Really do appreciate you being on the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. And what I want to do now is I want to go back to my 651.3 series in the ELM that talks about non-disciplinary corrective measures. Non-disciplinary corrective measures. All right, we started this series before LTS, and we're going to continue it now. So let me just, first of all, let me just read to you what the ELM says in 651.3, and here it is. Accountable managers / supervisors are responsible for the direct day-to-day performance management of subordinates. The accountable manager supervisor monitors subordinates' performance and provides appropriate resources, coaching, and feedback to subordinates. The management supervisor is responsible for leading the employee to a higher level of achievement. Performance improvement should be a shared concern, an effort between manager and employee. And early dialogue and guidance are critical to achieving positive results and continuance of an effective manager-employee relationship. So there it is, ELM 651.3. Just so good to know what that says, because it's interesting to see what the very first thing talks about, or one of the first things. So here we go. You ever have one of those moments when you see something small, something that isn't a crisis or a disaster, but you know if nobody says anything, it's going to grow legs, and it's going to walk around the building. You know what I'm talking about? You know, maybe it's a carrier who's been a little late getting out the door. Or perhaps it's a clerk who's been rushing through scanning packages and they're starting to miss a few scans. Or maybe if it's a supervisor who's completely stressed out and he or she is a little short with the employees because of this stress. It's nothing huge. It's nothing that needs a meeting, just something that needs a conversation. And here's the funny thing. Those tiny little moments, the ones that we're tempted to ignore, those are the moments that shape the culture more than anything else. So that's why ELM 651.3 starts with coaching. It's the smallest tool, but it's the one that prevents the biggest problems. So grab that cup of joe and settle in. We're going to talk about this very first tool in the non-disciplinary toolbox. So under 651.3, coaching is the lightest, simplest, and it's the most human tool we have. Let me say that again. That's unbelievable. It is the lightest and simplest and the most human tool we have. It's not paperwork. It's not discipline. It's not a warning. It's not even a setup. Coaching is a conversation. It's quick. It's respectful. This early dialogue between the supervisor and the employee when something small needs attention before it gets to be something big. Now, there are 3 things that define good coaching, and you catch it early. You don't wait for it to become a pattern. It's informal. There's no forms to fill out on this. No need to. There's no signatures that have to be had. Oh, you and I had this conversation. No, that's just silly. And the third thing is it's collaborative. It's both people sharing the responsibility. If a 2-minute conversation can fix something, that's coaching. And honestly, most things can be fixed with a 2-minute conversation. So what does coaching sound like? You know, a coaching conversation can be very simple. It could sound something like this. It could be that clerk that keeps missing a few scans. Hey, I noticed that some of the scans have slipped this week. Is everything okay? Well, let's figure out what's going on. Or maybe this one right here. I saw you've been getting out a little later than usual. Do you need anything from me? It's not a lecture or a performance review. It's not a come by my office moment. What it is, it's a check-in. The goal is understanding, not blame. It's clarity, not confrontation. And when it's done right, the employee walks away thinking, okay, well, they care enough to talk to me early before it becomes a big deal. So let me give you this picture here. Something that I've seen play out, and you probably have too. A supervisor notices that an employee, let's just say they've been missing a few scans, nothing major, just a few. Now, the supervisor has 2 paths. The path number 1 is the easiest. Say nothing. They hope it fixes itself, and they don't want to seem nitpicky. And they don't want to cause any conflict. But the issue grows, and the issue continues. Then someone complains, and then it becomes a pattern. And when it becomes a pattern, it becomes a grievance. And then when it becomes a grievance, it becomes a headache. So that's path number 1. But path number 2 is a quick coaching moment. It's 2 minutes. It's a simple conversation. It's a chance to understand what's going on. Maybe the scanner is not working right. Maybe the employee is overwhelmed. Maybe there's things going on at home that you're not aware of. Maybe they didn't even realize it was happening. They just needed a reminder. That 2-minute conversation saves 2 months of frustration. Now that's coaching. And that's why it matters. And that's why ELM 651.3 puts it at the very first of all the tools that it lists. So let's talk about what coaching is not. This is where a lot of people get confused. So let's clear the air right here. Let's just do that. Coaching is not a precursor to discipline. Now listen, that's very important. This is not the official discussion that happens. This is just a conversation. It's not a hidden warning. How many of you have been told by a supervisor or an IMPU or a plant manager, well, listen, if this doesn't get done, we'll be issuing discipline? There's no warnings here. It's not a paper trail. It's not a threat. And it's not a setup moment. If a supervisor is using coaching to intimidate someone, well, they're not coaching at all. They're misusing the process. Coaching is meant to support. Now, let me say that again. Coaching is meant to support. It's meant to guide. And it's meant to build trust. Now, coaching shines when a behavior is new, when something new pops up and you have to address it in some way. That is when coaching shines. Coaching also shines when a behavior is inconsistent, something that you're wanting to correct. Coaching shines when a behavior is minor, something that's easily fixed. And it also shines when the employee may not even realize there's an issue. How many times have I had that happen in my career? A quick conversation can fix the problem, and the supervisor can build trust, not fear. I like to think of coaching as that tap on the shoulder instead of the sit-down meeting, because it's the early intervention that keeps the workplace calm. It keeps it predictable, and it keeps it fair. And when coaching is done right, these things happen. Employees feel respected. Boy, I tell you, if upper management treated EAS employees with a little tap on the shoulder and say, look, we really need to fix this, that would go such a long way. They would feel respected. Supervisor would then feel more confident in what they do. And, when coaching's done right, problems get solved early. The workplace becomes a calmer place to be in. The trust grows. The communication improves. It's just simply the foundation of a healthy EAS culture. And it is the tool that provides, and let's face it, most of the conflict we see in the Postal Service may not be because people are bad. It may be because conversations didn't happen early enough. And that's what coaching fixes. So that's coaching. It's simple, it's early, it's human, and it is effective, and it's the first tool in the non-disciplinary toolbox. So why don't we do coaching more in the Postal Service? Why isn't the support there when we need it? I don't get it. I think this is something that every EAS should embrace, every upper management should embrace. Coaching is the one that solves lots of problems. Remember, most problems don't need a hammer. They just need a conversation. And that's what coaching does. And yet, we seem to ignore this over and over and over again. It's the simplest tool that we can use to avoid future disciplinary problems. And it's probably the one we use the least. So let me encourage wherever you are in your EAS journey to first use coaching to try to stem away from problems that could grow into something that you don't want it to grow into. It's really the easiest and most human of all the tools that we have. All right, that's going to be the first cup. Let's go ahead and pour that second cup. Banking shouldn't be complicated. At the Nashville Post Office Credit Union, it isn't. With easy online loan applications, mobile deposit, shared branching, and a team that actually picks up the phone, you get real service from real people. No runaround, no surprises. Just a credit union built on trust since 1925. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. And for our second cup today, I want to remind all NAPS members that are going to the National Convention to be sure to go to naps.org and register. That is so important because you can make the reservations if you want and you can do everything else. But if you're not registered to go to the convention, well, you're not going to be able to get in. So they have opened that up. They've also, NAPS has also extended the committees that you can sign up for. I encourage you to sign up for a committee as well. I have signed up for one committee before. Well, I signed up for 3, but got selected for the ballot committee. And that was a hoot. I loved it. It was just really fun. So go in there and check out the committees. It's open until the end of April of 2026. That's the latest thing that NAPS came out with. So be sure to do that. And be sure to go in there and register if you are going to the National Convention. Would love to know who all is going to the National Convention, what branches are going to be represented. Send me a message on our chat feature at napsbranch32.org. You'll see the little chat feature will pop up on the homepage to the bottom right-hand corner. You can send me a message. You can ask me a question. You can talk about today's show. Whatever you want to send a message to me about, do that. You can send it also to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com. That's the email address for this podcast. And if you want to send me any other messages, smoke signals are also very popular. I don't know about all that. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. Again, share the show. Make sure you tell all your branch about this show. Make this show the most popular show from Branch 32 out there, because it's the only one. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I'm Robert Wakefield, and remember, every great weekend starts with a great cup of Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Robert Wakefield and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. We welcome your questions and comments, so send those to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com.